Chapter 1. First Suspicions. In March 2027, leaks emerging across various European capitals began to shake the tech world. Documents surfacing simultaneously in Berlin, Paris, and Brussels caused internet service providers to grow unexpectedly concerned. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an experienced analyst at a Berlin-based cybersecurity research institute, was 45 years old and had spent 15 years working on satellite communication technologies. On that Monday morning, when she arrived at her office, she found something she had never expected next to the cup of coffee her secretary Anna had left on her desk. The folder was labeled Confidential Starlink Operations. As she examined the documents inside, her heartbeat quickened. They suggested that Starlink satellites were not only providing internet connectivity, but could also be part of a surveillance system called Global Eye. Among the papers were technical diagrams, code fragments, and email correspondences. The most striking documents were the tables showing that the satellite systems recorded GPS locations, internet traffic, and even device specifications in detail. Sarah removed her glasses, rubbed her eyes, and examined the documents again. If these files were authentic, the privacy of millions of people was under threat. That same afternoon, in Frankfurt, journalist Markus Weber of Der Spiegel encountered a similar situation at his office. With 20 years of experience in technology reporting, Weber immediately understood the potential impact of the documents sent by an anonymous source. Some of the included email correspondences showed SpaceX engineers discussing data mining protocols. Weber rose from his desk and walked to the window. As he looked out at Frankfurt's gray sky, he considered what effect this story could have across Europe. Determined to dig deeper, he immediately called his technology editor, Sandra Muller. Chapter 2. Evidence Emerges. Weber's first published article created a huge stir in the tech community. Titled Starlink, Internet or Surveillance, the article received 2.3 million views on its very first day. On social media platforms, the hashtag Starlink surveillance began trending. Users started voicing concerns over the security of their internet connections. At the Technology Research Institute in Stockholm, Dr. Erik Lindqvist convened an emergency meeting after reading the article. At 38 years old, Lindqvist was one of Scandinavia's foremost experts in satellite communications. He instructed his team to conduct a detailed analysis of the data flows from Starlink satellites. For weeks, Lindqvist's team worked 16-hour days. On the lab's massive screens, graphical analyses of satellite signals were displayed. Alongside standard internet data packets, they detected additional unexplained data streams. These streams used encryption protocols different from those of normal internet traffic. "What are these packets for?" asked researcher Lisa Anderson. Adjusting his glasses, Lindqvist replied, "We don't know yet, but they're definitely non-standard." These findings led to emergency meetings in the European Parliament. Member Antonio Rossi, speaking at the Technology Committee, declared, "We must protect the digital rights of European citizens." Parliament members began drafting new legislation to regulate satellite internet systems. At a weekly press conference, Pentagon spokesperson Linda Harrison stated that they were assessing the current situation. She used cautious, formal language when answering questions. Similarly, EU Technology Commissioner Dr. François Dubois emphasized that they were closely monitoring the issue. Meanwhile, at MIT, cybersecurity expert Professor Jennifer Chong launched an independent investigation with her team. They focused on analyzing the data of Starlink users from different regions. Early findings indicated that some user data was being redirected to unexpected servers. Chapter 3. Media and Public Opinion. At CNN's New York studios, technology editor Janet Rodriguez prepared a special program. Titled Tech Today Special, Starlink Allegations, the broadcast featured experts from around the world. In her decade-long career, Rodriguez had never encountered such a controversial subject. One guest, Dr. Rebecca Thompson, a technology ethics expert from Oxford University, voiced her concerns. Any technology can be used beyond its original purpose. The issue is how that use is monitored and controlled. Thompson's comments resonated widely across social media. The BBC Technology Department also analyzed the situation by hosting various experts. At the London studio, former NASA engineer Dr. Alan Morrison explained Starlink's technical infrastructure. He was known for his ability to make complex concepts understandable to the public. Meanwhile, at SpaceX headquarters in Austin, CEO Elon Musk convened an emergency meeting with the public relations team to decide how to respond to the crisis. Musk chose to make a statement on X. Our Starlink systems provide internet connectivity only. There is no other data collection activity taking place. But the statement did not fully ease public concerns. On platforms like Reddit, Twitter, and Facebook, thousands of discussions broke out. A new subreddit called r/Starlink Watch was created and quickly attracted 450,000 members. Across forums and groups, theories continued to proliferate. At Harvard University, technology expert Professor David Chen struck a balanced tone in his lecture. Any technological system can be used beyond its design purpose. What matters is whether proper oversight mechanisms are in place. His lecture garnered 1.8 million views on YouTube within a week. In Amsterdam, tech blogger Peter van der Berg launched a video series on his channel covering the Starlink controversy. By sharing his personal experiences as a Starlink user, he provided a different perspective. His videos became particularly popular among younger audiences. Chapter 4. The Whistleblower. In the last week of May, the prestigious Houston-based law firm Morrison & Associates announced it was representing a former SpaceX employee. James Harrison, a 42-year-old engineer, had worked for 5 years in the company's satellite systems development department. After leaving SpaceX, Harrison had been living quietly. His lawyer, Maria Santos, a veteran technology attorney with 20 years of experience, revealed that her client had witnessed discussions about a project called Global Eye during company meetings. These meetings were often held in a restricted conference room at SpaceX's Hawthorne facility. According to Santos, Harrison had attended a project meeting in 2025 where senior engineers discussed developing Starlink satellites not only for providing internet, but also for systematically collecting user behavior analytics and geolocation data. My client says what he heard at these meetings troubled his conscience, Santos said during a press conference at her Los Angeles office. The public has the right to know the true activities of technology companies. SpaceX's head of legal, Richard Coleman, dismissed the claims as completely false and misleading. He reminded the press that strict confidentiality agreements bound former employees and that Harrison was violating them. Mr. Harrison's allegations are nothing more than speculation intended to distort reality and damage the company's reputation, he added. However, Harrison's former colleague, Tom Rodriguez, offered a different perspective. He described Harrison as a meticulous and honest engineer who never lied. James never gets technical details wrong. If he says something, he must have evidence. Federal Judge Sandra Williams ruled that Harrison's formal testimony would be heard in court. The decision prompted intense preparations by both SpaceX and Harrison's legal teams. The possibility of broadcasting the hearings live was also under discussion. Chapter 5. Global Crisis. In the first week of June, Germany's Digital Security Council, meeting in Berlin, decided to temporarily suspend Starlink terminal imports. German Technology Minister Dr. Klaus Weber announced, this measure will continue until the digital rights of European citizens are safeguarded. Following this, France's Ministry of Digital Affairs took a similar step. French official and Du Bois stated at a press conference in Paris, we must protect our technological sovereignty. The decisions triggered a domino effect, with Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands adopting similar measures. At the EU headquarters in Brussels, emergency summits were held on technology policy. EU Technology Commissioner Dr. François Du Bois presented a new policy package called the Digital Sovereignty Strategy, aimed at reducing Europe's dependence on foreign technologies. At a State Department press briefing, spokesperson Michael Thompson argued that allies' decisions were based on unnecessary concerns. He emphasized the U.S. support for its technology companies. American technology supports freedom and connectivity worldwide. NATO Secretary General Maria Anderson convened an emergency meeting in Brussels, where representatives of 30 member states attempted to develop a common approach to technology security. However, disagreements emerged between the U.S. and some European countries. Against this tense backdrop, technology policy expert Dr. Amira Hassan spoke at the World Economic Forum, describing the situation as reflecting the tension between technological dependence and national sovereignty. At Davos, She stressed the importance of international cooperation in regulating global tech companies. Meanwhile, developing countries in Africa and Asia took a different stance. Nigeria's technology minister, Dr. Adebayo Okafor, said, "Because of our internet infrastructure gaps, we need solutions like Starlink." Similarly, India and Indonesia continued to support the system. This divergence created a split in global tech policy. While developed countries emphasized security concerns, developing nations prioritized access and infrastructure. Experts warned that this carried the risk of deepening the digital divide. Chapter 6. The Big Revelation. By mid-July, a team of 10 independent researchers from MIT had completed a 6-month detailed analysis of the leaked documents. Working an average of 12 hours a day, the team applied both technical and forensic examination methods. The team's leader, Professor Michael Zhang, a Chinese-American cybersecurity expert, had previously worked on Google's security team before moving into academia in 2015. Presenting the findings in MIT's amphitheater, Zhang spoke in a careful, scientific tone. "We found that some of the documents were fabricated," Zhang said at the podium. "However, some technical details may be accurate." His team had meticulously analyzed metadata, writing styles, and technical inconsistencies. The results were shocking. 60% of the documents were fake, but 40% contained excerpts from genuine SpaceX engineering files. This indicated a sophisticated disinformation campaign mixing real information with fabricated details. The true picture was that while satellite systems could theoretically be used for data collection, there was no evidence proving global-scale systematic surveillance. Any internet technology can collect data, but that doesn't mean Starlink was designed for malicious purposes, Zhang explained. Meanwhile, the Zurich-based independent auditing firm Tech Audit completed its review of the Starlink systems after 6 months of intensive work. Tech Audit CEO Dr. Hans Müller announced the results at the company's headquarters in Davos, Switzerland. "In our review, we found no evidence of suspicious data transmissions outside of standard internet protocols," said Müller. His 30-person expert team had examined Starlink's source code line by line. "The system is not conducting secret data collection as alleged," he concluded. However, the same report's conclusion section recommended stricter regulation of all satellite internet systems in the future. It emphasized that technology companies needed to make greater efforts toward transparency. In response, Harrison's lawyer Maria Santos insisted that her client's claims still held weight. "The documents may be fake, but the meetings James attended were real," she told reporters from her Los Angeles office. Epilogue. In August, as the 6-month crisis began to ease, both the tech community and governments drew important lessons. New international standards for regulating satellite internet systems started to take shape. The European Union drafted a comprehensive legislative package called the Digital Sovereignty and Transparency Act. Dr. Sarah Mitchell founded a new department at her research institute in Berlin, the Satellite Internet Transparency Initiative. This project focused on exploring how satellite systems could become more transparent for the public good. Mitchell's team concentrated on developing real-time satellite traffic monitoring systems. This crisis showed us that we need to build bridges of trust between technology companies and governments, Mitchell said during her speech at the Berlin Technology Conference in September. Her presentation received wide coverage in international media and inspired similar projects elsewhere. Marcus Weber, after 6 months of intense reporting, decided to write a book about the events. Titled Trust in the Digital Age, The Starlink Crisis and Beyond, his book aimed to analyze the societal impacts of modern technologies and the role of the media in such processes. In the introduction, Weber wrote, "These 6 months proved how critical technology journalism is. We must find the balance between avoiding panic and revealing the truth." Professor Erik Lindqvist launched a new research project at his Stockholm laboratory called Open Satellite Protocols. The project aimed to make satellite communication systems codes transparent. "Technology must be democratized. It should not be developed behind a veil of secrecy," Lindqvist stated. James Harrison, following the court proceedings, decided to withdraw from the tech sector. He moved to a small farm in Colorado, where he took up organic farming. However, he continued to appear at conferences as a speaker on technology ethics. His lawyer, Maria Santos, chose to specialize in technology law after the case. From her Los Angeles office, she established a new department focusing on workers' rights within tech companies. In the aftermath of the crisis, Elon Musk implemented a new transparency policy at SpaceX. Quarterly transparency reports began to be published, explaining in detail how the Starlink systems worked and what data was collected. The SpaceX engineering team added a new feature to the system called the Privacy Dashboard. Through it, users could see in real time what data was being collected and how it was being used. By October, European countries began gradually lifting the Starlink ban. However, under the new regulations, all satellite internet providers were now required to publish monthly transparency reports. Professor Michael Zhang, together with his team at MIT, established the Technology Verification Laboratory. This lab was dedicated to scientifically examining claims in the tech sector. Zhang's team also worked on developing early warning systems to help prevent similar crises. Public opinion surveys showed that people's trust in tech companies had permanently shifted. According to a Pew Research Center study in December 2027, 68% of respondents said they wanted more transparency from technology companies. At the same time, public awareness of the balance between internet freedom and security significantly increased. Universities began making technology ethics courses mandatory. Tech Audit, following this process, began receiving similar oversight requests from other tech companies as well. Dr. Hans Mueller stated, "Transparency has now become a competitive advantage." Dr. Jennifer Chong expanded her MIT research to include investigations into all major tech companies' satellite systems. Her Global Satellite Monitoring Project started receiving international funding. The Starlink surveillance incident continued to be studied for years in courses on technology history, media studies, and political science. It provided a critical case study for discussions on both tech company accountability and the importance of public critical thinking. By early 2028, assessments showed that while the crisis had made the tech industry more transparent, it had also slightly slowed the pace of innovation. Experts believe this trade-off would ultimately strengthen trust in technology in the long run. The most important legacy of the incident was the emergence of a new understanding of how trust between technology and society should be built. From that point forward, tech companies began to design transparency into their products from the very beginning.